we've just left. We've just weighed anchor and we've just left the anchorage of Tioman, and we're now heading to the Anambas Islands. No wind, visibility is very hazy, flat calm sea. In fact, when I last looked at the wind, it was showing 0.0 knots. So we are slowly motoring, kept the revs down. We're under 1500 RPM, which is giving us a speed of about 4.5 knots. So I'm assuming we might have a bit of tide with us, not sure. We'll find out when the tide turns in a little bit. The only activity really is a couple of fishing boats on the horizon, one passing a few miles ahead of us now. And that's pretty much it. So all we're doing is now looking at all the waypoints on the chart, which we downloaded from the Indonesian cruising guide author. So they're GPX locations which we've got on the charts to look at. They're annotated with notes, very, very useful. Interested in some of the anchorages where they suggest anchoring opposite karaoke bars and trendy coffee shops. So have absolutely no preconceived ideas about the Anambas at all. So this is quite fun. We've obviously done the research in terms of getting there and checking in, but apart from that, it's going to be all new.
Saw a kingfisher. I've never ever seen a kingfisher out this far. Flew around the boat a couple of times, went off, came back, and it just stopped over here, and we're just hoping he might come back and you can get a shot of him. Beautiful. Here he is. Here he is. Hello, fella.
So as well as kingfishers, what else have we got to look out for?
Well, the other thing apparently we've got to look out for that way is submarines. Because this is a submarine exercise area, and on the charts it says be on the lookout for submarines. I'm just hoping they're on the lookout for us too.
Well, since not much is happening at the moment, I thought it would be a good time to clean the water maker. What this means is just running some cleaning powder through the system. So what I need to do first of all is collect 12, well it's going to be about 12 litres in a 12 litre jerry can from the water maker, so water maker water in the jerry can, add the stuff into it, cleaning powder. Okay, so this is how it works. This is my two-way valve here. We've got salt water and fresh water, and that goes through this pipe and into the pump here, but we want to isolate that. So we have another valve here where we say, okay, rather than bringing in fresh or salt water from this way, we're going to bring it in from this pipe here, and that is the pipe. It runs free here, so we drop that into the bucket, and that is what it's going to be taking the water from. Meanwhile, the excess water, which normally is thrown over the side of the boat, so that's the non-drinking water, the wastewater, currently goes through here. So it's coming up from the water maker and out. But what we can do instead is to say, okay, come up from the water maker, instead of going out over the side of the boat, we're going to switch it over to this pipe here. Okay, and that is going to go back into the bucket. So we have two hoses there. So one is sucking in the water from here, and the excess water is coming through the system, being flushed and going back into this, and that simply allows us to recycle this water that's got the cleaning powder in it. And then finally we've got the product water, which I've diverted back to the bilge, and you can see it's on a long hose there, and I can bring that back and also put that back in there, so any product water we're making will go back in there, so that we're not actually losing any water at all. And in theory you'll see the water level drop a bit, but it should stay at least half full, and we can run that for about 10 minutes or so. And there it is, running away. So you can see what is normally the wastewater. I don't know if you can see the bubbles coming through there. that's going into the jerry can, and then this is taking it out through that point there and into the pump unit here. And then the product water you can see like so. These gloves are used for a particular purpose, and that purpose is hanging on the end of Lizzie's line.
Or something? It's a small tuna, but it's big enough to feed you and me tonight.
What do you think of that, eh? She's going to go all soppy now. Tail's going to shake. Shaky tail.
Look, Mills. We'll put him here, then he doesn't slip off. Yeah, it's great, isn't it, Millie? Yeah. About bloody time, she said.
We have a very excited pussycat here. This knife is the knife we're going to use to cut up the little tuna, and the reason why I mention this knife is because it was given to us by one of our Patreons, Captain Ron. Ron, thank you very much. You haven't seen this for a while, we haven't either. We're now going to put it to its proper use. Last night was super busy. The gap between Tioman and the Anambas Islands is about 80 odd miles. It's basically one major shipping route, because you've got all these boats coming up from Singapore heading up to Bangkok or to China and vice versa. So of course they're all going north and south, hundreds and hundreds of them. Meanwhile, we're cutting across. We were doing around about 085 degrees, so we're going across it. So it was like going across the world's busiest shipping lane. I mean, like 50 miles worth of crossing boats. I mean, thank God for AIS and radar, of course, but we had a couple of close shaves. There was one in particular. This boat had, it was coming up behind us, and according to AIS he was going behind us, and I could see first of all his port light, then his starboard light as he turned. And at the last minute I looked up and I could see both his port and starboard light. He'd turned back again, so I had to get on the VHF and just remind him I was there. Fortunately he had seen us, and according to AIS he was avoiding us, but boy, that was scary when you look up and the whole sky is just full of this great big huge tanker. Yeah, it was hard work. It was really hard work. I haven't really had much sleep at all, but anyway. That's a water spout. I think we want to try and avoid that. Emergency storm dodging tactics. Having seen that water spout and then the big squall that's following behind it, we thought we'd turn and try and run parallel to it in the opposite direction. It seems to be moving quite quickly. Well, this bodes well as we're just entering into the north west corner of the Anambas Islands. We've just seen a turtle. Well, I saw a turtle, Liz didn't see it. It was about 2 meters under the water. Apparently it is their mating season at the moment. So we are hoping that this is a good sign. At the moment we're in about 40 meters of water, ploughing through some eddies, so our speed has dropped down to 3.5 knots. That was first anchorage that we were thinking of going to, but we thought we'd go around the corner to a bigger bay.
I've been asleep most of the day recovering from the events of the passage, but gosh, it's so beautiful here. It really is beautiful. It's like nowhere I've seen. I've never seen such clear water in a long time. We've got mountains all around. It's just beautiful here. It's so peaceful.